If you blinked during the finale, you might have missed the moment the T-Ocellus, the creepy eye monster, finally got exactly what it wanted. A human body it could drive like a stolen car. And not just any body. It picked Arthur Sylvia. That choice wasn't random. Over the season, the show quietly taught us how this thing hunts, how it chooses and claims a host. The finale just paid it off in the most chilling way possible. In this video, we'll walk through what the T-Ocellus is, how it thinks, the subtle tricks it uses to go from a glass jar to a walking corpse, and why Arthur was its perfect door. Intelligence, not instinct. From the moment we see it in the lab on Neverland, Kirsch calls it highly intelligent. It's not a mindless bug in a tank. In episode 4, we see it stalk a penned sheep. It doesn't lunge recklessly, it observes. When the glass cracks or the socket opens, it moves in, threading itself into the eye. Then it drives. The sheep stands upright, eyes alive, head turning deliberately. It recognizes who's worth watching. That demonstration was a tutorial for us. The eye is both lock and key. If the optic nerve is open, it can slip right in, plug into the nervous system, and commandeer the body. Parasite, strategist, opportunist. The T-Ocellus is more than a single trick. It's not a parasite that just latches on and survives, it's a strategist. In the Maginino flashback, we watch it demonstrate levels of planning that feel disturbingly human. It doesn't just rely on brute force or blind instinct, it uses other organisms like tools. Remember the leech? It deliberately contaminates a crewman's water supply, seeding it with larvae so his body becomes a walking diversion. That isn't random biology. That's manipulation, turning another life form into a chess piece. When the chaos hits, the eye creature doesn't waste a second. It smashes its containment, darts free, and immediately pivots to its next move, communication, not with words, but with sound. A strange, low-frequency pulse echoes down the corridors, and what responds? A xenomorph. The Ocellus isn't powerful enough to take out soldiers head-on, so it borrows the terror of another apex predator, essentially weaponizing the environment against its captors. That moment is critical. It shows us this thing understands ecosystems, pressure points, and how to create openings. It doesn't just react, it engineers outcomes. And then comes its boldest display, host hopping. Shmuel's bulging eye isn't a simple infection, it's a trial run. For a few chilling seconds, the Ocellus pilots a living human, hijacking his motor control, forcing his body to attack. But the creature doesn't cling desperately to a failing host like a mindless leech would. The second it senses a stronger opportunity nearby, it abandons him without hesitation and launches itself toward the next possible vessel. That's not survival, that's risk assessment. A calculated, cold willingness to burn through pawns if it means getting closer to the queen. And that instinct, observe, exploit, switch, upgrade, is exactly what plays out in the finale. Every distraction, every leap from one host to another builds toward the moment it finally claims Arthur's body. A plan years in the making pays off in seconds.
Ready, get up.
The finale build-up. Once the story returns to Neverland, the monster's playbook is consistent. Watch, wait, use others, take the eye, but stakes get personal. Boy Cavalier wants to hear it speak. He orchestrates weak hosts, isolates the eye and sheep, and positions Joe to be the next target. But he underestimates the monster's agility. When the sheep's eye cracks and the creature bursts free, it lunges for Joe. Wendy intervenes just in time. The creature vanishes through ducts and wall vents, signaling it hasn't lost, it's just re-strategizing. That's when Arthur's body becomes its ultimate prize. Why Arthur? The perfect host. After the chestburster erupts from Arthur Sylvia's chest, his body is abandoned on the beach. To the human characters, it's just another casualty, one more tragedy in the chaos of Neverland. But to the T-Ocellus, That corpse is an opportunity, maybe the best it's ever had. The body is fresh, still structurally intact. The neural highways are unbroken, the musculature is unspoiled, and most importantly, the ocular pathways remain untouched. No damage to the socket, no scarring to block access. It's a door left wide open. For the T-Ocellus, this is ideal. Unlike Joe or Wendy, there's no immune system fighting back, no conscious mind resisting control. The corpse doesn't struggle, it doesn't bargain. It simply provides full, immediate access to limbs, posture, and mobility. The moment the parasite slides into the empty socket, everything clicks. It grips the optic nerve like a pilot grabbing a joystick, sinking its signals into the nervous system. Within seconds, Arthur sits up. But make no mistake, this isn't resurrection. There's no breath drawn, no heartbeat returning. What we're seeing is not life reborn, it's override, a puppet animated by a puppeteer. And narratively, the irony lands like a gut punch. All season, Arthur Sylvia played the role of protector. He was the one urging caution, trying to safeguard minds against exploitation, trying to resist chaos before it spiraled. And yet, in the end, he becomes the very vessel of the chaos he warned about. It's cruel, it's deliberate, and it's precise storytelling. By wearing Arthur's body, the T-Ocellus doesn't just gain camouflage, it gains symbolism. It turns the voice of reason into a mask for madness, the steady hand into the weapon it now wields. For Dame Sylvia, for Wendy, for every survivor left on the island, this isn't just a monster's evolution. It's personal. The finale's key themes and parallels. When the Eye claimed Arthur, the series doesn't just throw a twist, it completes an arc. Wendy learns to speak to Xenomorphs, hijack systems, open doors with her mind. T-Ocellus learns to hijack nerves, reanimate corpses, and speak through people. Both are about claiming bodies as instruments. Both are asserting power through embodiment. The eyes betray us, the mouth becomes lie, and who controls what speaks next is terrifying to consider. Expanded scenes and observations. Let's dive deeper. In the early lab demo, the Eye doesn't lash out. It sits, studies. That stare means it identifies hierarchy. It is not content just to survive, it wants to dominate. During the Maginino flashback, it times its escape with external chaos. It doesn't act alone, it orchestrates. The jump from host to host is seamless. When the sheep becomes Joe's target, the creature senses the better chassis and abandons the weaker one. In the finale, when the creature bounces off Joe and descends through vents, that's not retreat, it's repositioning. It's methodical. When Arthur awakens, the tension is intentional. His body is active, but the mind we knew is dormant. The voice we'll hear next belongs to the Eye. These aren't random beats. They thread through the season clues, patterns, thematic symmetry. What this means for Season 2. Once the Eye is inside a human host, the game changes entirely. It can speak. It can manipulate relationships. It can fix cameras, broadcast lies, control minds. The next host might be someone more networked, someone with cameras, influence, connections. Because the Eye doesn't need a living host, it can upgrade corpses. The boundary between life and death is blurred. Humanity's cages, labs, weapons, those are forms of control. The Eye finds a door and calls that freedom. And that promises horrors far beyond body horror, psychological, identity warfare, control of voice itself. Closing rally. If the finale gave you chills when Arthur's corpse sat upright, no, it wasn't a twist. It was the delivery on a season-long architecture. The rules were laid out. Hunt, wait, plug in, move on. And now that it has a human host, the face we see may not be the voice we hear. This is not a possession, it's an evolution, a takeover, a rewriting of who gets to speak and who obeys. When the Eye opens its mouth next season, I suspect it won't speak like Arthur. It'll speak like the thing that stared down a sheep and whispered pi digits across a glass prison. If you felt that chill too, hit like, drop your wildest theory below, and subscribe because the next blink might not be safe.